Hi guys, my name is Nonima Tigela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about the what if the witness is Gwabini. What if the witness is Gwabini and he doesn't know anything about the party Sizwe said happened back on the 26th of October 2014? And what happens if he was not even in Gauteng back in 2014? Let's break it down. If the new witness turns out to be Gwabini and he does not know anything about the alleged party Sizwe Zungu spoke about, and he was not even in Gauteng back then, fireworks. Then the state case experiences one of the most devastating collapses it has ever faced in this trial. Let's break down exactly what that means. One, Sikhumbuzo Zungu's testimony becomes radioactive. Sikhumbuzo claimed there was a party in Vosloorus. Certain people were there, certain conversations happened, certain weapons were seen. If Gwabini is the witness, the very person supposedly present says, I wasn't even in Gauteng, then Sikhumbuzo Zungu's testimony becomes unreliable, fabricated, impossible to believe, legally worthless. The court cannot rely on a witness who claims something happened with a person who wasn't even in the province. Number two, the defense gets a fatal blow against the state. If the kind of contradiction defense lawyers pray for, if Gwabini comes, confirms he wasn't even in Gauteng, then the defense will argue Sikhumbuzo invented the events. His entire narrative was made up. The state relied on a false witness. The investigating officers ignored the truth. The accused were arrested on fiction. This is ammunition, and it's nuclear level ammunition. Yes. Number three, the judge has no choice but to question the entire prosecution theory. Why? Because Sikhumbuzo was not a small witness. He was a pillar of the state's version. Not just a small witness or a pillar of the state version. He is a police officer. Okay? He's a police officer. If that pillar and a police officer collapses because Gwabini destroys it, all of it becomes questionable. The alleged meeting, the alleged confessions, the alleged coordination, the alleged incriminating behavior, the supposed timeline, the judge would have to ask, if Sikhumbuzo lied about this, what else did he lie about? And that is the type of doubt that acquits the people. Number four, the investigators look compromised. If the state never verified where Gwabini actually was, it exposes a sloppy investigation, a predetermined narrative, no fact-checking, potential coercion, potential fabrication. The defense will argue the police manufactured a story and the witness went along with it. This is exactly the kind of thing that leads to wrongful arrest lawsuits. Oh my God. Number five, Section 174 discharge becomes extremely likely. We need to talk about this until the case is over, as long as there are possibilities of what I'm saying being possible. If the court sees fake timeline, fake presence, fake party, fake events, then the case collapses into dust. A Section 174 discharge is used when there is no credible evidence on which a reasonable court could convict. If Sikhumbuzo's story falls apart completely, then there is no reliable event, no factual timeline, no verified interaction, no incriminating behavior. In other words, no case. No case. Absalom's credibility becomes unbreakable. Number six. Remember, Absalom was calm, consistent, and confident. The state tried and failed to break him. If Gwabini, unintentionally or not, ends up supporting Absalom's version by contradicting Sikhumbuzo, then Absalom becomes the most truthful witness, the most consistent witness, the trustworthy center of the defense case. The court listens to a witness like that. It has no choice. Bottom line, if Gwabini says he wasn't at the party, he didn't know about any gathering. He wasn't even in Gauteng. Then Sikhumbuzo Zungu's testimony dies instantly. And when that happens, the state case collapses because its entire timeline is exposed as false. This would be one of the biggest, most dramatic turning points in the entire Senzo Meyiwa trial. Listen, family, listen. If the next witness is Gwabini, and I pray that it is, and he tells the court he was not at the alleged party on the 26th of October 2014, or worse, that he was not even in Gauteng, I pray those will be the things that he says. I pray to the Almighty that he says those things. Then we know for a fact Sikhumbuzo Zungu's testimony doesn't just fall apart, it implodes. Today, that is what we are expecting. That is what we are expecting Advocate Mnisi to break down. And we will see the legals, what happens legally, strategical, and practical if Gwabini contradicts the state's entire narrative. That is my expectation for today. That is me. And then if he refers to the party that never happened, Sikhumbuzo claimed there was a gathering, people linked to the case were present, weapons were allegedly seen, Gwabini was supposedly there. But imagine if Gwabini walks in and says, I wasn't there, I wasn't even in Gauteng. Damn! Damn! And in that moment, Sikhumbuzo's testimony becomes, as I already said, unreliable, fabricated, manufactured, impossible to trust. And this is a single contradiction. This single contradiction can destroy an entire prosecution theory. Yes, yes. And that means the defense gets a gift from the Almighty God, straight from heaven, packaged, and the defense will jump immediately and argue the state built its narrative on lies. They never verified facts. The witness invented events. Innocent people were implicated. Police accepted fake statements. This is the kind of contradiction that the defense lawyers dreamt of. And I pray it comes true. Gwabini confirming he wasn't present is like dropping a legal nuclear bomb. That's exactly what we need. Judge Ratta has a massive problem, and he is a problem. He has a massive problem, and he is a problem. A judge cannot rely on witnesses who place someone at a party, but that someone says they were not even in the province. If that detail is false, the judge must reconsider everything Sikhumbuzo said. The judge will have to ask, if he lied about this, what else did he lie about? And once the court questions witness honesty, the case unravels. Judge Ratta has no choice. He must follow the law. He must follow the law. He must follow the law. He has no choice. The investigation looks even worse. If police never confirmed whether Gwabini was actually in Gauteng, it proves no proper investigation, no investigation at all for that matter. No fact-checking. A narrative was forced. Witnesses were not verified. The state accepted fiction as evidence. This fits directly into the defense theme. The state framed a story to match an outcome. That is devastating in courts. That is devastating in courts. And then Absalom Zungu gets massive validation. Simshayela Izanda. Remember, Absalom was calm, consistent, unshakable. The state tried to break him and failed. If Gwabini's version indirectly supports him, then Absalom becomes the most trustworthy witness in the entire trial. Corroboration is equal to credibility. That's exactly what will be happening. If Gwabini says he wasn't at the party or was not even in Gauteng, then Sikhumbuzo's testimony collapses instantly. The state case falls apart, and they have no choice but to discharge the accused. That one becomes almost unavoidable. This could be the most explosive twist in the entire Senzo Meyiwa trial. Please make sure you stay tuned, stay locked in. These things are about to get very interesting. Please drop your comments. Drop your comments, your thoughts in the comment section. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? See you on our next video. Bye-bye.